Next, live.
Hersam Acorn newspapers, publishers of the Greenwich Post, New Canaan Advertiser, the Darien Times, the Ridgefield Press, the Weston Forum, the Wilton Bulletin, the Reading Pilot, the Lewisboro Ledger, the Monroe Courier, the Eastern Courier, the Trumbull Times, Fairfield Sun, Shelton Herald, the Stratford Star, the Milford Mirror, and the Valley Gazette.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.
Here in Norwalk City Hall and our friends at Hersam Acorn Newspapers and Han Radio. Life is about being flexible, isn't it? Boy, and that's what the drive is about. Being extremely motivated and finding the flexibility to shift gears and get into whatever we need to get into, right? We've dealt with the water sprinklers sprinkling us today. We've dealt with the power and the equipment issues. I guess that's what happens in a growing firm.
Yeah.
You got to take the growing pains. Without the growing pains, I guess, the old saying, no pain, no gain. So it's Memorial Day weekend, and we're really excited to be here in Norwalk City Hall, and we're going to be sportscasting some games later on today, Rob. Tell me
Yes,
about
we will.
those games.
Oh, gosh, we've got a great game today. It's the top two teams in the FCAC. We'll be taking on one another. It'll be Darien and Norwalk. It's 4 o'clock later today. I'll be on the play-by-play. The winner gets the top seed in the FCAC, and the loser will be the second seed going into the playoffs next week. They could meet all over again a week from today.
All right, so today's drive is a little bit different than all the others you've experienced, and station manager Rob here thought it would be a good idea 3 months into it that you know a little bit behind the scenes of what the drive is all about. A little bit about me, a little bit about the book,
idea.
the method, and so couldn't be more apropos that we've had some technical issues because that is part of the method. You kind of make your plans and then life happens. So the daily drive came, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background.
Okay.
I come out of the Berkshires. I come from a town of 1,800 people, believe it or not. When I met my husband, Troy, he couldn't believe that. I went to school down in the city, and more recently, I'm involved in family business, specifically in art business here in Fairfield County. And I know we've been in the county about 18 years. So 3 years ago, a client of mine asked me, how is it that I juggle family, aging in-laws, all the businesses that we have, and kind of seem put together. And the biggest laugh is, I'm really not that put together. It's just I do this little active meditation in the morning that kind of calibrates my thoughts. And this was a longtime art client of ours, and she said, well, would you put your thoughts down on paper? I'd love to see how you do what you do. Well, I had done this journaling process for years, and sort of as a serial entrepreneur, I put it in a little booklet at Kinko's, and I gave it to her. And she thought it had some merit. And from there, it got some legs with another client who was at that time at Random House Publishing. Okay, fast forward. Everybody has a mindset that drives them. Everybody has a drive, right? And at different points in your life, your drive is what you might call it an all-time high. And then other times, depending on what's going on in your life, it's an all-time low.
Yep.
So I don't have time, and because of the type of personality I am, to sit and do what is a traditional meditation. So I developed this process of writing things down in the morning, and I've done it for the past 25 years of setting the tone of my thoughts. And I usually start with thinking about what's going on in the day, and I start the practice with I am. So I am going to have a great radio show today on Hersam and Hersam. Am I saying it right again?
Hersam.
Hersam. See, it's like a mind block that I keep doing that. Anyways, it's not a substitute for any type of therapy, and it's not a substitute for anything that gives you joy and relaxation. It's just an extra modality. And the reason why I know that writing things down is so important is because when you write things down, you're likely to follow them through. Now, I could give you a lot of scientific reasons how writing things down relieves stress and it allows you to prioritize. Therefore, it helps your immune system, it helps your thought process. But I'm going to take it back to the days of the cavemen.
Okay.
Long before we did anything, we doodled on walls with berries. That's how we communicated. So it's
Right.
a primal instinct, in my belief, and as an artist and as a creative person, that, the second greatest thing to your mind are these. And yes, we type and we tweet and we do all that great stuff, but when you're using another sense, the sense of touch, tacticalness, it engages your brain. So I put together a process for myself that ultimately became a process that's now in an active meditation journal, a book called My Daily Drive, an agenda for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your lifestyle. Now, I was inspired over the years by people like Zig Ziglar, Napoleon Hill, Clement Stone, Dr. Judith Orloff, Tara Brach, some of the Hay House authors, and then some really incredible business leaders. Like, did you know that Bill Ford actively sets an intention, the CEO of the Ford Motor Company, each
Right.
and every day? Robert Stiller of the Green Mountain Coffee Company, Russell Simmons of the Def Jam Records.
Def Jam, right.
Oop.
Yep.
Rupert Murdoch, Ariana Huffington. All these people have something in common. They're pretty big leaders in their own right. They meditate in the morning. So I've taken it to a new level. I've taken it to where you write it down creatively with some writing prompts that kind of steer your thoughts. Because we all have monkey mind, chatter. We all have, those calisthenics that we do each and every day about what's going on in our life that's a little bit, at times we can self-doubt ourselves. And through our thoughts, we might create, well, I know for a fact we create our day. So if you steer your thoughts, you might steer your actions. So people ask me, well, you're a very driven person. Where did the title come from? Is it just your drive? No, not at all. I grew up actually in and around a Ford dealership.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I grew up in a family business where we talked about cars a lot. We worked on cars a lot. So I learned a lot about cars. And cars are a great metaphor for self-care. For example, there's one steering wheel in each car for a reason. Can you imagine if there was two? That'd be
Chaos.
a little chaotic. And I believe, and I saw this in our customers from when I was a little kid, they would not be mindful of what gas they use. They wouldn't be mindful of giving their cars regular tune-ups. They'd be driving down the turnpike in Massachusetts, and their car would break down, and they'd freak out.
Right.
And they'd say, well, when's the last time you looked at your tire pressure or, changed your belts or checked your oil? So self-care and automotive care have a lot in common. What they have in common is, in fact, that the kind of fuel you use in your car or the kind of fuel you use to fuel your life, your mind, your body, your spirit, creates your lifestyle. And so if you set the tone or you set the intention each and every day with something that relates to your goals and you write it down, it kind of crystallizes them. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So steering your thoughts steers your actions, ultimately steers your results. And because, you can either live with habits that uplift you or habits that create, disease and uncomfort. Uncomfort?
Discomfort.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hersam.
Hersam. So, long and short, I wrote this book. It went to focus group in 2013, and it went to Amazon 2014 and 15. Along the way, I had a friend at Hersam, Marianne Hersam, to be specific, and I said, you know what? I'd really like to have a show that empowers people. It's not just about me, where we bring on other experts in the area of mind, body, spirit, create your lifestyle, to help our audience here in Fairfield County steer their lives. Not necessarily movie stars or celebrities, but people that have done great things with their lives, certainly had trials and tribulations, but can offer value to our listeners and now to our viewers. 'Cause
Right.
now we're on live stream.
That's right.
Even with the wind and the hair blowing all around, live stream is good. So I said that to her about a year into the project, and I created an idea chart, a mind map, showing her, we'll bring on people that have value in these areas that can talk about their real life's experiences as I'm telling you about mine. When Troy and I started our business back in 1999, we we threw a few $1,000s in the pot, and we started a company which is now Troy Fine Art Services and Troy Joseph Interiors. It was one good day after another, but then there were some not good days. And can you imagine shaping a little company in Fairfield County with really nothing to start with?
Yeah.
We didn't have Kickstarter campaigns back then.
Nope.
No. And the bank didn't want to necessarily loan an artistic company money back then. They were afraid.
Right.
So 17 years later, we've done it through one mind map, through one creative visualization at a time. Now, you might say, well, that's because you're in the creative business. That's easy for you. No, that's not true.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that? Okay.
I wouldn't say it's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
It's just not.
It's not. But the interesting thing about what I believe from a creative background is you've got your right brain, which is your artistic side, your
Right.
intuitive side, and you've got your left brain, which is analytical, numbers, words. If you toggle between both sides of the brain,
Yeah.
you get better brain performance. Now, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor. I just know artistically, when we're teaching art to children in schools, it develops their cognitive skills, their thinking skills. So one day, I plan on promoting more art programs in the school and the return of cursive, because I think it's so important to use your tactical hands as a sense. It allows you to express your feelings. A journal is a place that'll be a great sounding board at 2 a.m. with no judgment.
Yep.
And through that creative process, it's almost like a mental relaxation in that toggle. New ideas, new solutions can come in. That's the piece of the active meditation. So I think we should take a quick break.
Okay.
And let me recalibrate my flying hair and my thoughts since we were thrown a little curveball with the water sprinklers here going on in the baseball field in the wind. And we'll be right back to talk more about the daily drive. Thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you have a great start to the Memorial Day weekend. The daily drive is a great place to start a reflective process and see where you can take the second half of this year. We'll be right back.
Breaks, sprains, injuries, and pain can now be quickly and expertly treated at Coastal Ortho Express in Norwalk. Why wait hours in the ER? Save a trip and save money going straight to an orthopedic specialist at Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, 203-845-2070. No appointment necessary. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or call 203-845-2070. Fast!
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332, and online at stratfordsmile.com.
Alliance. We are an industry leader in coordinating transportation for large events such as corporate road shows, conferences, and special events. Our team of experts understands the dynamics and logistics of high-pressure situations and complex arrangements, all within a rapidly changing environment. Since 1999, we have added charter jets, event management, and personal protection to our range of services. Mention this ad for $25 off your next round-trip reservation. Alliance and you. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. 855-546-6996 or alliancelimo.com.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
Did you know that taking dance lessons is a great date night idea? Ran ball with professional instructors ready to teach you salsa, waltz, rumba, hustle, tango. There's a dance for every season, and we are rated #1 on the Knot.com. We are the wedding dance specialists. Take advantage of our new student offer, only $49. Call 203-769-1800. Visit us online at arthurmurraygreenwich.com.
Does advertising on HANradio.com work? Just ask Coastal Orthopedics. They ran spots with us, and within 24 hours they had 21 walk-ins and 8 calls to their new immediate care center. To advertise on hanradio.com, call 203-417-5199 and ask for Marianne Hersam.
You're listening to Hersam Acorn Radio.
Am I back? All right, I'm back. Welcome back from City Hall in Norwalk. Hersam Acorn Newspapers and Han Radio is going to be filming some games here today, jump-starting on Memorial Day weekend. So the station manager, Rob Adams, thought it'd be a great idea if I tell you a little bit about myself and the show now that we're into it for 3 months. And for those of you that are just watching it for the first time, you can see all the archives for Han Radio at hanradio.com not only by show, by air talent, and so on. So I encourage you to check it out. It's great background motivational, whether you like arts and leisure, motivational talk, or sports. Check out some of our archives. Okay, so back with the Daily Drive. The Daily Drive for me is a mindset, and you don't necessarily have to be as driven as I am, or as driven as your neighbor, or as driven as your best friend. Your drive is your own personal drive. But because we're in a very overstimulated environment, overscheduled, contemporary living is very chaotic, and oftentimes I think many of ourselves put ourselves to the back of the bus. How do you find time to connect with yourself, your true intentions, and your goals? Some people exercise, some people sing, some people dance, some people journal, some people paint. There's so many modalities to connect with your inner self. So the Daily Drive method is one of them. And it's been brought about by some of my clients that were interested in how I manage to do all the things that I do. But beyond that, I find that it's very important for us to take a little time each day to set our intentions. There are 1,400 minutes in a day, and about 1,000 minutes you're awake. So if you find 9 or 10 minutes, that's not even 1% of your day. And frankly, I think you deserve it. Sometimes I don't give myself enough permission to do it. So this project was naturally born out of a need for me to take a little more time for myself to set the tone of the day, to get everything done that I needed to get done. And the process starts with I am. In the book, you'll see that there's writing prompts, and it's set up sort of as a calendar so that, for example, today, Friday, I wrote, I am going to go down to Norwalk City Hall and have a great show, and we're going to have a great response. And I'm going to pick up my car in a timely fashion that's in for car repair, and everything's going to run smooth, and the bill is not going to blow my mind. So it's a little bit, the way I do it is a little bit of a pre-sponding, acting, proactive, if you will. And then it's a little bit of gratitude, the things that I'm thankful for, the things that went well. That's the crux of the daily practice. There are exercises within the journal that talk about how to set the tone of the day, how to mind map a specific goal that might be needing your attention. So a mind map is, as opposed to listing your goals, it's a visual diagram. It's a visual diagram with a keyword in the center. For example, new job. Many people might be looking for a new job nowadays. And the mind map around that keyword centers on all the brainstorming or actionable items that you might do to get a new job. Write a resume, find a career coach, search sites online. So the mind map is different than writing things down in a list because it toggles between the left and the right brain, allowing for the creative side to come in. You could say, well, I'm not creative, Denise. That's only you artist type creative people. That's not true. Everybody has both a left and a right brain. Now, you might be more dominant. You might not be as creative as your neighbor or as me or as anyone else that you know that's supposedly labeled as artistic. I also encourage in the Daily Drive not to be judgmental. You got to unload the trunk. We're back with the automotive metaphors. When you keep a lot of labels, daily annoyances, past hurts, disappointments, and angers bottled up, sort of reserved baggage in your trunk, that's bad gas mileage. What's happening is your mind is defaulting sometimes to these events. It's not moving you forward. So I encourage you by writing things down to kind of release those things. Find new ways to talk about yourself or talk about those events, almost reframing them. Because when you write it down in a different way, you're crystallizing that energy, you're crystallizing that belief. Um, if you write down, I stink, for example, then you stink. But if you write down, I am going to get this done and I'm going to do that, you set that tone. In the same way you would talk to your best friend who is having a bad day, or maybe your child or a relative or a coworker, you wouldn't say, yeah, you stink. You would try to support them and try to bring out the best in them. So journaling is a reflective process that allows you to do that too. In the Daily Drive book, it's set up in a way so you can put your own look and feel on it. It's got some writing prompts that start with I am. It's also reminding you to maybe write some handwritten thank you notes. The most readily open piece of mail in snail mail is, of course, a handwritten card. You're providing a positive energy out to the person you wrote the card, as well as when you wrote it. The Daily Drive talks about taking things that no longer serve you, things that are piled up in the garage, piled up in your closet, piled up everywhere around you, and maybe donating them to the Goodwill or to somebody else that can use them, shifting the energy out so you make new energy to come in. So it's more than just a journaling process. The Daily Drive is a mindset of shifting energy out and allowing new energy in. And notice I didn't say bad energy out. I just said energy out. Now, naturally, some bad energy you want to shift out. I call looking in the rearview mirror. We all have a rearview mirror in our car, and that serves as good information. It serves to tell a story. But if you hang out too long in the rearview mirror, what happens? You're off-road because you're not looking forward. So life is daily, and it's about moving forward. For me, the practice of journaling helps me move forward. The structured practice within the book, My Daily Drive, An Agenda for Your Mind, Body, Spirit, and Lifestyle, has got some guided writing prompts with a lot of flexibility. So it's not like, here, fill in the blank with this word. That opens up your mind to trying something new. I also talk about visualization in the book. I visualize. You fill in the blank. It kind of prompts you to say, what do I want to visualize today? Is it a successful grade on my college exam? Is it a successful doctor's result? Is it a successful date night? I talk about rewriting the old script. We all have the old scripts that replay in our mind. Girls wear pink, boys wear blue. Certain cultures do this. I can't do that because of that. Old scripts. Old things that we just have rooted down, in our core. And it's okay to let some of those go. And sometimes by writing it down, I rewrote the old script that says I need to blah, blah, blah. By writing it down in a different way, you almost create a catalyst for change because you've written it down. And I go back to when I said earlier before the break, long before we communicated verbally with the alphabet, we doodled on walls with berries. We communicated from here to here out. And it's so very important. So when my client asks me, how is it that you stay seemingly so balanced? And I believe balance is a constant state of motion. It's because I write things down in a sort of creative and guided way that uses both right and left brain. And it creates a peaceful day. When you set the tone of your day, even though like things happen today, we were supposed to be on at 10, we got on at 1, we got sprayed by water, the wind is a little crazy. So you make your plans and life happens. But when you're a little more in tune to yourself, you can be more relaxed with the results and be easier on yourself, more flexible, encompassing the changes that are in front of you. And sometimes, the old adage, careful what you wish for, you just might get it, may work in your favor, but it also may work not in your favor. So the greatest thing about being in tune with yourself is that you're able to handle life's challenges when they come about. Like today, for example, we had to make a decision. Were we going to come on? Were we not going to come on? Were we going to run an old show? I thought, you know what? I'm here. It's windy. It might not be the perfect environment, but hey, I'm committed to what I said I would do, and I'm going to do it. And we can always redo it another time. So the Daily Drive is available at denisesdailydrive.com. I think it will help you change your mind chatter, which we all have. Should I do this? Should I do that? Shouldn't I do this? Where do I? There's exercises in there to map out your goals. That's real flexibility, Eric. Hopefully the tent will stay with us today.
This is,
Am I good?
working on the fly, just
We're working on the fly for sure.
because everything's flying around.
Yeah, everything
Yeah,
is flying around.
Exactly.
Well, I guess that's it's Memorial Day weekend. We just kind of have to go with it, everyone. So I kind of talked to you about unloading the trunk. I'm going to talk to you about good fuel. What's good fuel? Well, good fuel for me is hanging around with people that support me. Like these guys at Hersam are top class act. There's a sense of family here. I work with my husband, Troy. I enjoy that. I work with some other great people where I'm advising strategically some business solutions for a CEO that I've known for many years. So I've kind of custom crafted a lifestyle where I have people and friends and family that support all the crazy things that I am and say that I want to do and be. In the same way I support and do that for my family, and especially my daughter Ava and my husband Troy. So that's a positive fuel for me, having supportive people around me. In addition to that, I try to be mindful of what I eat. I'm not going to say perfectly because I don't, but I try to be mindful of it. I try to be mindful of moving my body. I might exercise more certain weeks than others. But it's a total self-care in the same way you're caring for your car, checking your tires, your oil pressure, your oil levels, your tire pressure, your battery. Wrong in a car. Oftentimes we just leave it to the mechanic. Let him fix it and I'll worry about the bill later. But you don't want to do that with your own life or your own self. It's really important that you take, or we all take, stock in our own self-care because you're in charge of that steering wheel. There's one steering wheel in each car for a reason, like I said before to Rob. And what I love about a creative process is you can make it your own. You're not stuck in a box. And therefore, you will find your true inner self and your true desires. I've talked before on the show, what's my all, having it all, and what someone else's all is two different things. And if you watched Randy Rice a few weeks ago, you would hear him say, success for him is not driven by what's on a W-2. And I feel the same way. Feeling fulfilled every day, engaged every day, happy every day. It doesn't mean my to-do lists aren't done. They're never done. But having a day where I feel like I've made a difference and I've moved things forward, to me is fulfilling. I have goals. I set them with intentions, and I know I'm moving for them. And I definitely have off-road days, too. I'm not saying that there's no perfect life. But the daily drive is a mindset of moving forward, accepting things as they are, making room for changes by setting intentions, with the catalyst being writing it down. So I think we're going to take another break, Eric, because the wind has gotten a little crazy again. And we're going to come right back. I encourage anyone that wants to call in, even though we might have a little trouble with the wires today, 203-442-9055. It's The Drive with Denise DiGrigoli, and we're on Fridays, usually at 10. I don't know if we're going to switch the time.
We'll be back at 10 o'clock.
Well, we're going to be back
week.
at 10. All right.
It's a little crazy right now with the sports schedule and a lot of remote broadcasts over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks here. But we thrive on that. And
we thrive on that.
It's gonna be a few weeks of adapting and being open to change. So.
Open to change. See us back on The Drive in 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right.
Located in the heart of picturesque downtown Ridgefield at 13 Governor Street, Colby's is the area's premier retailer for blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies, and is one of the select few Hunter Douglas Gallery dealers. A family-owned and operated company, Colby's experienced staff will work with you in choosing the best treatments for your home or office and offer free measuring and expert installation. Colby's also carries an extensive line of decorative fabrics including Schumacher, Durley, Tebow, and more. Or browse over 400 books in our wallpaper library from famous designers such as Stroheim, Schumacher, Ralph Lauren, Tebow, and York. Take advantage of our Fashion in Motion savings event with savings and rebates on Hunter Douglas shades with Power Rise technology. Colby's of Ridgefield. We are committed to your 3831.
Just because it's no longer boat or beach season, you don't have to abandon your lifestyle. At the Dock Shop, it's beach season all year long. The Dock Shop has just loaded up with many new products that are perfect for the gift-giving season. Fishing tackle, jewelry, nautical-themed accessories, lighting, tableware, and more. Are you heading out for a tropical winter getaway? Come by the Dock Shop and check out styles by Margaritaville Apparel, Montauk Tackle, Game Guard, and others. Stop in at the Dock Shop and enjoy the New England coast all year long. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien. DockShop.com.
It's Lots of Characters, specializing in children's birthday parties with your child's favorite characters. When you want to party hardy, when you need to celebrate, call us, we won't be late. We help create lasting memories for you and your child on their special day. Call us at 203-590-1791 or visit our website at lotsofcharacters.org for more information and to see our party packages. Lots of Characters, 203-590-1791 or online at lotsofcharacters.org.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
I'm back. Welcome back. It's Memorial Day weekend. We're here at Norwalk City Hall with Hersam Acorn newspapers and Han Radio. Do you know that can I call it radio station? Is that okay?
That's fine.
Or should I call it radio station and TV, YouTube live stream?
Media streaming.
Media streaming.
There we go.
Let's get the current contemporary verbiage down.
We're still trying to figure out how to describe all this ourselves.
Right.
So
Media streaming. What I love about it is not only can you see us live, but you can also pick us up on the archives at hanradio.com. So I'm part of a fabulous team where we have various shows. The cooking show, Stir Crazy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Arts and Leisure. Coffee
break, behind the news, Nutmeg Sports,
The Daily Drive. This is a growing little enterprise that we're very, very proud of. So we encourage you to share it around. If you like it, tell us about it. If you don't, we'd like to hear some constructive feedback. You can find me at denisesdailydrive.com, and the drive is on Fridays. I am always looking for great stories and great guests in the area of mind, body, spirit, create your lifestyle. What does that mean? That means if you've been running a business, you've written a book, you're an expert on a topic, that you can share with our listeners about how you fuel your life, how you fuel your mind, your body, your spirit, create your lifestyle. Please email me at denise@denisedigrigoli.com, or there's an email on the hand site too, I think. You can find me there. It says contact me. Anyway, is motivational talk show. It's about an hour of intelligent talk with a little humor. I think humor is very important in life. If you look at some of the best comedians, like our friend David Letterman, who just retired, Tina Fey, I don't know, I'm sure you know many of the greats. I love humor because humor allows us to shift our perspective and see things differently, as well as make a little bit of fun of ourselves. You know, there's a little, behind every stereotype, there's probably a little truth. Behind every joke, maybe so. But it allows us for a moment to laugh and breathe and kind of recalibrate our perspective on something. What I know for a fact is we believe what we tell ourselves. So if you're in transition, let's say you're, going through something good, going through something not so good, maybe running a home, pursuing a degree, or changing your career, or caring for aging parents as we are, keeping business running, all the things that you need to do, again, in contemporary lifestyle, which seems to be very overstimulated these days. I find that one of the best things that you can do is add a little humor. So how do I do that? Well, I try to see a little funny side of everything that's going on, good, bad, or indifferent. I try to keep it lighthearted but real. And when I'm really stuck on something, I try to reframe it in a way. And there's this regular daily practice of the book that says, where can I find the humor? It just that ping reminder, where can I find the humor in today? I've got 95 things to do. My to-do list is growing. Everybody seems to be yelling in my household. What can I do? How can I make this funny? Well, I can see a little cartoon in my mind of like a bunch of chickens squawking in a chicken coop looking for the worm. that little activity switches my brain. It tunes me down a little bit, so I'm not super engaged in the household yelling. So any muscle you work, whether it's your bicep or your mental muscle, you're working it, I'm assuming, for better purposes. So I tend to be a little bit of an overthinker, and I tend to be a little bit of a self-imposed perfectionist. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that about myself, and we all know what our warts are. I call them our warts. So when I'm daily driving in my journal in the morning, I set the tone knowing that I'm trying to steer away from these things. I'm trying to be mindful of something that might cause me to overthink. And then I steer it in a different direction. I am going to blah, 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 whatever I'm going to do to steer the day or the intention. I could fold and say, oh, this is going to stink. Everybody's going to still be not happy with this, or I haven't achieved that. And you know what? I'm just going to get more of that. So I don't think many people want to fail. I mean, because eventually you will just set that tone and you will fail. So it is a mindful, active meditation that works for me. I encourage you to think about trying something like that that gives you a restful, reflective time. I happen to like the morning. You can do it at night as well. I call the book a portable ashram, a place to reflect. So you can take it with you, but many of the people that use the book have a little spot where they hang out in their house and they reflect on a daily basis. Now, whoops, here we go. What happens if you don't do it every day is nothing happens. But if you do it every day and you find that it works for you, it'll encourage you to use it more. Similar to like an exercise program. When you see the results of exercise, you probably do it a little more, especially if you have a goal in mind. And then maybe you slide back off your exercise program and you see some of the results go away. You say, well, I know that exercise program works, so I'm going to try it again. That's the same thing with active meditation or reflection. It's a good habit to put into your daily routine because it helps not only relax, but it does in its own quiet way propel you forward. It's that sort of silent time where you're reflecting that actually gives your mind the opportunity to come up with new solutions. So I think that we've given you enough information about the authenticity of journaling and how important it can be in your life. The daily drive and agenda for your mind is one way to achieve that, and I encourage you to jump onto my website, Denise's Daily Drive. We run seminars monthly on the how-tos and creative processes. Here we go again.
Processes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you jump on there, I think the next one is June 9th, Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. And we're working towards having some live webinars similar to what we've experienced today, but with some how-tos in the background where we'll actually be doing some interesting journaling and mind mapping and doodling together. The doodling piece, which I didn't really cover too much today, is very similar to the mind mapping. Doodling was considered many years ago, for lack of the better word, the dummies or the people that were not focused in class. And we know from studies today that doodling is extremely important in synthesizing information. It goes back to the conversation of toggling between the right brain and the left brain. So doodling actually helps you retain information. It doesn't mean you're not focused in a meeting or not focused on what's going on. It's actually helping you retain. And everybody doodles differently. You do not have to be artistic to doodle. You could be doing hashtags and little marks and circles and scrollies. That provides the same benefit. I recently read an article about how in Europe they're actually using adult coloring books in meetings in addition to whiteboards and mind mapping and doodling as the new what they're calling creative capital. They're seeing a value, well, and we too here in the United States, the doodle revolution or the visual thinking revolution, where we're seeing the benefit of actually writing things down and using some doodling techniques to move people forward that may have a problem with focusing. Coming out of a creative background, doodling and mind mapping and coloring is maybe second nature to someone like me, but I cannot encourage it enough for everybody. We have clients that range from high schoolers, struggling with some of the pressures going on in school, to people in college that, are trying to figure out where they're going and what they want to be and do they want to stay in the major they're in, to people that are being challenged with cancer recovery, new home, new baby, all of the things that make life, what we call crazy, but so juicy, rich with memories. The other thing about the Daily Drive is it's an evidence-based journaling system. So I glue in tickets to when I went to FTC and saw a great concert, or when we went to the Museum of the Moving Image on Mother's Day, or when I got a great birthday card. It's a great way to look at your life, especially if you're a busy person, and say, you know what, I often say my life is just so busy and I have no fun. But when you look back in your journal, you'll see, oh my, I got to visit with this friend. I went to dinner with that friend. I got to see a baseball game. My child did really great at this. Oh, I need to get my dog's hair cut. It keeps all the rich memories that make life so great in one place, and it reminds you that your life is more than just stressed out, hectic, and chaotic. So that is a snippet of the Daily Drive. I hope that you'll jump on. Email me if you have any questions. Memorial Day is a great long weekend to get reflective. Take the Daily Drive or a journal and a pen. Go to your favorite spot and start with some I am statements. I am. What are you going to be doing tomorrow, the next day, in the future? I don't mean necessarily a 5-year look out, but it could be. I mean, what are you going to do now to make your relationships more harmonious? Whether it be with a coworker, with a family member, with your child, with yourself. It starts with an I am. How are you going to get more, financially secure, healthier, participate more in society? Those start with thoughts, but sometimes thoughts are just fleeting thoughts. When we write them down in an I am, you're going to crystallize them, and that's going to create your drive. That's the drive that I believe in, kind of bringing it to the surface with the I am statements. So I wish you a prosperous and relaxing Memorial Day weekend, reflective. Again, I encourage you to tune in. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, handradio.com, denisesdailydrive.com. Happy Memorial Day from our friends at Hersam Acorn.
Happy Memorial Day to you, Denise, and thank you very much for being flexible with us. And
my pleasure.
It's always a fun time.
Oh, it's a great time. I love you guys. It's
all
great.
Right.
All right,
well,
I'll see you next week.
All right, when we will try to get the drive back in its normal time next Friday. And thank you for tuning in. Until then, this has been The Drive.
All right, be well.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.